that's my last name, says the book covers blah 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 blah. So the quote ends here. It's like an entire quote.
This video is brought to you by OppiPies Academy.
And you kind of also talk about, how so you kind of tell the story of how the book is written, why, how it came about, all that. And towards the end, you sort of write about the company, just a paragraph, and then you want to give contact information at the bottom, right? So again, my email, my phone number, and you might also want to add a nice photo that they should add. I didn't add it here, but you could add a nice photo that maybe your logo or maybe some photo of your product screenshot. And so that's just so that if the journalist does decide to publish your story, that would be the image they would use. So you're basically giving them everything. And when you're done with this, what you do is you can send this to PR Web, which is a press release sort of website. They'll send the press release on your behalf to hundreds or maybe thousands of journalists. Same thing with PR Log, or if there are top publications which you want to run your story, what you can do is you can send this press release right to the journalists who write on your business niche for the publications that you want to cover. You most want to cover your story. And what you can do is here's a trick to increase the chances of you getting published by those guys. Is when you send the press release, what you want to do is you want to say you want to do an exclusive. An exclusive means that the story will be exclusively on their publication, right? So you're not going to send this to any other journalists, so that the story will be exclusively on whatever publication you want, and you give them something like 24 hours to reply whether they are going to follow through, and then it is going to be an exclusive article, and if not, then you send it to another journalist. But giving an exclusive is kind of a nice, neat way to help you increase your chance of getting your story published by a publication that you really are after. And I'll include the press release template right after the lecture, so you can just copy it and keep the structure, but just maybe add your information instead of mine. You also want to link to the book, whatever the product is, right? So for example, this is the most comprehensive, well-researched guide on business that's ever been written. We can link to it, right? You link to it, you give the URL, you apply, and I had the URL copied, pasted. This is the URL right here. Actually, if it is a book, you want to take it from here. I already did that. So here it is, and now when the journalist gets the gets the press release, they will just be able to click the press release and go right to the book, so they'll be aware of what the product is. And you might also want to link this to your http www.hermlemio.com, and there you go. They'll get it with links. You might also want to link this. You get the picture. You get the idea. You don't need me to show you how to do that. But just for right. So now everything is linked. If you want to really be good, you want to link this email as an email. But okay, you get it. And then the press release is fine. It's catchy. It has a catchy title. It has a story in there that the journalist can copy and paste. Again, you should have a photo, maybe a screenshot of your product, or maybe in my case a cover of the book. You could add it right here, and then you're set. You're set to send it off to journalists. Of course, if you're working with a publicist, they will already have probably a big list of journalists who know them. So if the publicist gets an email with the press release, if the publicist sends it to the journalists that they know, there will be a far higher chance that your story will get covered, of course, because the publicist has already established relationships. Whereas if the journalists hear about you the first time they get your press release, there will be a little bit less of a chance that they'll run the story because they don't know you, and it will take them, it will take them a little bit of time to learn about you, and that's a little bit of a barrier. So that's an advantage of like working with a publicist or a PR company, that you're going to be leveraging their existing relationships with journalists. And if you're doing this on your own without that, you're going to have to either kind of live with the lower chance that you're going to get coverage, or before you send this out, you should spend a month or two really establishing relationships with the journalist on social media, so that you can then sort of reach out to them and say, hey, I just sent you something, take a look. That sort of thing will again increase the chance that you might get press coverage from them. And the whole template will be in the extra resources for this lecture, so check that.